Hello YouTube, I'm Zach, you're watching Zakdtv. Welcome to my show where I like to bring you something interesting for your day. I like to do my show in 4 categories. They are something interesting, something fun, something important, and then we'll do something dumb to wrap it all up, give you a little chuckle at the end of the day. Well, I'd like to get right into this, and let's start with something interesting. We have a giant threat out there to our nation's power grid. It is a threat that no one talks about. It's not hackers. I know people all concerned about Russia hacking our power grid, China hacking us hacking ourselves. Well, actually, the real culprit is squirrels. I came across this website. It's run by a guy named Chris Thomas. He's a former hacker. He's now a security advisor. And he put out a finding that shows that squirrels are better at taking down our power grid than any cyber attack so far. This info is held at cybersquirrel1.com. Yeah, great name, right? Cyber Squirrel. Love it. There's only been one cyber attack, they say, that has been pulled off successfully by humans. I guess it was a USA-based software virus that went out. Very, very powerful. Took down a lot of computers. On the other hand, though, there has been 879 confirmed squirrel outages. Yes, the squirrels have taken us down almost 900 times. Better than that, birds come in at almost half of that, at 434. Snakes pulled out a good 83. 83 power outages for snakes. I wonder if that's them getting up in lines or if they're getting into equipment or something. That's kind of an odd one for me. We have raccoons, rats, and martins rounding it out with 72, 36, and 22 outages respectively. That's pretty good compared to what we're able to do. It definitely seems that animals are the biggest threat to our power grid, and they're really kicking the hackers' ass. I don't know what's going on here, guys, but you're being beat by a bunch of rodents. Up next, a story I thought was kind of funny, kind of fun, made me laugh when I read it. There's a story that came out of Alabama. Searchers in Alabama were looking at police, firefighters, dogs. They even had a helicopter in the air. Spent hours and hours looking for this guy. His name was Randy Holt. He's a 50-year-old guy. He was out hunting. When he didn't come home, they called, reported him missing. So this huge manhunt went out looking for him. This happened on Monday. They searched for hours for this guy until the police realized they had put him in jail. Yes, he was picked up earlier in the day. I guess it was around 2 o'clock in the afternoon. A call came in. It was a report that there was a guy running around without his pants on. When the police showed up, they found Randy. He was intoxicated. He was real bad. Slurring his speech, everything. He said he was waiting for his buddy to come out of the woods. I'm just glad to hear he wasn't hunting at the time. But they found him there, and they put him under arrest, put him in the county lockup. And then they went and spent hours searching for him. I want to know, what did this cost? How can you go searching for a guy and not realize that you already have him in custody? What did this cost the county? What's this going to cost the taxpayers? It's just a great big waste of time. And I found it pretty funny that these guys didn't check or talk to anybody or anybody involved and say, oh yeah, I remember that guy. I arrested him earlier today. Let me know what you guys think about this. The next topic I want to bring up is pay-for-play politics. This is extremely important to everyone around the world. This isn't just a local thing. This isn't just an American thing. This is something that happens worldwide, and I think we all need to have a discussion about this one. I bring this up because I was reading this morning that the Clinton Foundation closed the Clinton Global Initiative. They convene global leaders and implement solutions for the world's most pressing challenges. That's what they state that they do. They help promote better health through videos, through movies. They do a lot of lobbying to help poor, underprivileged women, stuff like that. They sound like they do some pretty good work. At the same time, it has been called a slush fund. I'm not the one who called it that, but it has been called a slush fund, and I can see how it is. I honestly, looking at it, I do believe that it was probably being used that way. It's been used to sell access to our politicians, specifically the Clintons. They're able to access this money. They take huge donations in from other countries and whatnot, and of course that is going to affect their policies. To prove this, there's a well-documented scandal where donations were used to pay for Chelsea Clinton's wedding. So if they're going to use these donations to pay for their daughter's wedding, why wouldn't they use them on themselves too? There's also a report that they're overcharging their donors. Not sure about that one. I read it online. I checked my facts, but I couldn't come up with anything solid on that. They lost a bunch of backing around the time that Trump started talking about it being a slush fund. He was accusing Clintons of just, is pay for play. You take the money from these companies, from these other countries, from whoever that wants to influence our politics, and then you owe them. You owe them a debt. Samsung and ExxonMobil both pulled out when Trump started making reference to this fund. So they wanted to get out of there. They wanted to get their names away from this thing. I wonder if they knew what was going on and they wanted to pull back before the shit hit the fan. Since Hillary lost the election, there have been several foreign governments that have pulled off donations, including Australia and Norway. Just those two alone dropped the fund by $15 million after she lost. That just shows you, if there's no pool, why are you going to keep donating to this program? If the program was so great, then why wouldn't you just keep funding it? I don't want you guys to think that I'm bashing Hillary alone. Trump is no angel either. As a businessman, before he ran for president, he's accused of using his charitable organization, the Trump Foundation, to donate $25,000 to Florida's Attorney General Pam Bondi. This was at a time when Trump University was being looked into as a scam, as a fraudulent university. She dropped the investigation, said there's no need, after he donated $25,000 to her campaign. That shows you how pay-to-play works. Now, the big picture here, if you look at the whole thing, is money is the driving force in all of our politics. It comes from campaign contributions. It comes from lobbying, charitable organizations, vacations given to these politicians, food, expensive liquor, all this. Anything that you give someone expecting something in return is a bribe. Common sense tells you this is a bribe and it's not legal. Our government should not be set up in such a way that the person with the most money has the most power. This is nothing new, all right? This has been going on forever. I found stories of pay-to-play in the U.S. government alone dating back to 1875 when President Grant was in office. His administration was caught up in, they called it the whiskey ring scandal. If it happened nowadays, it'd be called Whiskey-gate. They were receiving money and acting favorably towards the whiskey industry at the time. They convicted 110 of our government regulators of being involved in this. From tax collectors, from senators, congressmen, everything. This went all the way through our government. 110 people convicted of it. I thought that was pretty crazy. That's the furthest one back I could find. Maybe it just means the other people didn't get caught, is all I could think. Now, what I'm saying here is bribery is bribery, no matter how you color it, no matter how you say it. And the system that we live in right now is allowing the big businesses, the foreign countries, the wealthiest of our citizens to influence the policy that affects us. I mean, the same policies affect their businesses, so of course they want them to do better. They want the trade agreements to go their way. They want everything to work for them. And if they have to throw a little bit of money to grease a couple palms, they will. But what that gives them is more power than the individual voter. Why should some place like tobacco companies wield so much power? Because they've put the money in the right hands, they've sent the right people to the right vacations, and they have made sure that they control what happens in our lives as American citizens. This is a global phenomenon. It happens around the world, and I think we as the people need to look into this and really see what is causing this and really take care of it. Let me know your opinion on this subject. Let me know how you think we can get the money out of politics. And I'm going to wrap this all up with my dummy of the day. The man is unnamed as of now, but we have a 45-year-old man from California who tried to set himself on fire. Yeah, he did. He went to the Trump Hotel in Washington, D.C., piled up a bunch of garbage in the middle of the street, lit it on fire, and with some kind of accelerant, now I know they're talking about denatured alcohol being involved here. They're not certain on that. That's what he said he used. Tried to light himself on fire. in order to protest Trump becoming president. I can think of a lot better ways to do this. Heck, start a blog if you need to. Burning yourself isn't going to make the world a better place for you. He says he did it to protest the fact that we elected somebody completely incapable of respecting the Constitution. He also called Trump a dictator. He ended up with third-degree burns over 10% of his body and a good trip to the hospital. And that's where he spent his night. I don't know exactly what he thought he'd accomplish by catching himself on fire in front of a business in the middle of D.C. It's not like he did it in front of Trump Plaza in New York. Not like he did it in front of the White House. He did it on the streets of Washington. What a dummy. I just want to know how much it cost him to get there, and now what his medical bills are going to be. This has been an expensive episode. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to wrap it up there. If you like what I do, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you would. Leave me comments. That's what this channel is all about. I want to hear from you. I want to know your opinions on these things. I'm going to put a subscribe button over here towards the end. I'm going to load my last video up here. And I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys then.